Welcome everybody to Onward VR Master League, the channel. We are here with the ProTube Stackup Charity Tournament. And we are here today primarily to spread more awareness of a charity event that the one and the only F. Lipinski is kind of to coordinate here for Stackup. They are a veterans anti-suicide kind of organization. They help keep veterans kind of mentally healthy with gaming consoles and providing games themselves, getting them a little bit of a break from the everyday of life stresses that they encounter while deployed or even back home as they are kind of shifting back into a civilian career. Being former military myself, I kind of understand a little bit of this. I actually haven't deployed, though. I have heard many things about Stackup, so I'm kind of excited here to be helping out with hosting this event and providing a bit more awareness. Currently, we do see on the scoreboard page here, we have a bar for the donation progress. The goal here is $10,000. And on the right-hand side of the page, you'll see a quick tiny URL that we had developed for bringing you to the donation page itself, so you can participate in the efforts here of ensuring that our veterans stay mentally healthy through gaming and getting the help they need to receive through Stackup as an organization themselves. They are a non-profit organization. It's just ensure that is publicly declared here. They are a non-profit organization helping out veterans and active military. So with that said, feel free to pop into the website, take a quick peek around, and if you feel so inclined to assist, help out the donation efforts here. Right now we have Notorious and Primordial in a 4v4 matchup right now. They're getting the last two people in here, and I have Nomad here helping me out on the casting desk. How you doing today, Nomad?
I'm doing well, thanks. Glad to be here.
So, with this event, it is a best of 5 with static maps that were already chosen through the challenge website and the Lipinski there. We are starting off on Snow Peak. There are no bans. This is not a regular VRML format in that regards. So some of the rules that VRML typically follows may not apply here. However, we're still here raising money for the event. That is the ultimate goal here. It is not to get up in a ladder scheme at all or go down. These two teams have made it through so far with the event, and they are in line for today's best of 5 series. And with that though, while we are native to the VRML side of things, we did notice that the teams really aren't that strong on Snow Peak to start off. Nomad, do you have the site up still for those stats?
Yes, currently for what would be quote-unquote the home team Notorious, so far we are going through season 13 of the VRML, and they played Snow Peak twice and have yet to win the map. They played 14 rounds, they won 6. Whereas Primordial, they played it once. Again, they did not win that one. They played 7 rounds and won 3. So, but one thing to be mindful of is these two teams are of different skill levels. So one will play more difficult teams than the other. But either way, these two teams have a losing record on this map. But obviously, we're going to see which one will break that record.
Alrighty, and with that, we have all 5 on each side. Our lineup for Notorious tonight is General Chiggins, TX Mad Mats, Wicca Wicca, Mission, Mithril Marauder. And the usual suspects here, if I remember correctly. And on the Primordial side, we have Alex Weiser, Canadian Persone, I believe. It's Steve James Tim, Hunter G169, and Salty Posey. So yeah, should be a pretty good matchup here. We have between a handful of these guys having experience on different teams and different levels. So Nomad, what are your predictions for for this first map here.
So Snow Peak, by and large, is a combination of long range and close range. Notorious loves their close range engagements. Like to play aggressive, and Primordial is not completely familiar with them, but I do believe they're kind of a mix between long and short. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a notorious win of score of 4-2. It's gonna be some fight from Primordial, but I think the experience from Notorious is gonna oversee them, as they've been playing since October of 2020 together. So I think that time together is gonna net them the win.
Alrighty. Well, we should be starting up here in a minute. So again, feel free to take a quick peek at that link I just threw in chat a minute ago. If you are new here, I will throw it in again shortly, or you can go to the tiny URL link on my right hand shoulder, off to my right, or my right hand side. Sorry, I'm mirroring images here underneath Nomad. And looks like, oh, yeah, we're good here still, the teams. Let's see. Sorry, I'm just trying to find a little bit of info that I had here. I'm trying to get my screens reorganized as well. Oh, yeah. Here we go. This is the T-Rex bracket. We have another bracket called the Spinosaurus bracket that Lipinski is hosting over on the VR Charity Twitch channel. So if you want to take a peek at the other bracket, see how that's going, they are over at VR Charity as well. We can do if we finish up early and Lipinski's still going, we can do a raid over there so we can get a little bit more Onward action on that side of the house. And I think they started here a minute ago as well, right? Yeah, they are currently live, but they're going through the early intro slideshow here. So they have a lot more information on the awareness efforts that are being made here. It looks like they have some nice formal slides to go through that Stackup actually gave them. So we should be starting up here momentarily on our side, and looks like they are going to be starting up as well around the same time here. Outside of Snow Peak, the other maps we have in store today, map one is going to be Snow Peak because we are here currently. Map number 2 is Suburbia. Map 3 is going to be Quarantine, and if we get past that, it will be Bazaar and then Subway. And as we get through that point, we are starting up.
Well, don't die on purpose.
Looks like Notorious is gonna have, I don't know, spawn. Not really a quick spawn, but it's also pretty decent as you're kind of in the middle between all three possible spawns. So you kind of get a bit of both worlds if you're attacking, especially when you splitting your offense.
Yeah, and really they don't need to do much other than just sit down in this box and kind of wait it out.
Where it is.
This is
up to your right.
This is a great place to be for starting off in defense, depending you have the map awareness of where the angles are and how they're how the opposing team is going to be coming in from. But it looks like this the mini map here is currently bugged. We have the northeast spawn, and Steve is not going to really see anything off here in the south. That call out should be coming in here shortly with. Coming up on the pillbox, we have Mad Matt. Looking for really anything they can see, but not gonna get anything just yet as the team is patiently waiting behind the rocks.
Yeah, Canadian Persona on camera 2 has got an interesting position. Most people play where Salty Posty is at the sniper tower, but Persona is taking the snowbank. It's unorthodox, not well used. Might get him shot, but he's got that G3 auto, so if he's got return fire, he's got the bullets to match.
Yeah, and if they keep poking out like this, they are going to be very easily seen here by Mad Matt and the rest of the gang over there on the pillbox. They got to really keep that head poking down. But we do have General Chiggins with the flank off in the north hangar here. That also could be beneficial as Canadian Person goes down. Salty would be able to at least kind of rotate in for that angle, as Chiggins is going to have to cross out a little bit more in the open on this frozen lake. While we are missing the mini-map here, we got to keep an eye on this push off to the south as well. Wicca and Mithra Marauder really starting to get in line with the rest of the team in the map here. And
looks like Wicca may bump into Steve, James, Tim in about 20 seconds.
Alright, there we have it. First shots out from Canadian Person on to Chiggins. They were crossing out into the lake. That's going to give away their position for Mad Matt, but...
Yep.
Oh, and Steve comes up from behind with Wicca, and Marauder's at least going to get this refrag there with the suppressed weapon.
Already 3 minutes in, we are now in a 4v3. Paper are primordial, and looks like we had a drop. Looks like Steve dropped shortly after being killed.
Uh-oh.
Hopefully he returns to the lobby soon.
Can't confirm if I killed him.
Canadian spotting mission. Can't land the shots until now. This is Mad Matt with a nice flashbang and a nice quick headshot onto Canadian with the refrag. Gonna make things a 3v2 now in favor of the defense.
And Mad Matt is going to have to really kind of take this careful approach in, because Alex could peek out this direction from those Heskos and get that angle. Looks like they're having a little gun stock issue there. Oh, and as they get mounted back up, Salty Poozy goes down. That's going to make this a 2v2, but those gunshots are going to give Hunter a little bit of a heads up as to where they're coming from and rotate back for a quick check. The question is, are they going to collapse back in on the uplink into a strategic spot in time for Mad Matt as Marauder takes out Alex? This is now a 1v2 with Hunter off the uplink, taking one shot in the leg. But that is going to give away their position.
Yeah, nice split offense. Only one guy left on defense, away from objective. They can't really defend it, so a few good smokes and a quick capper can make an early 2-0 lead for Notorious.
Yeah, they do have a minute left as well.
Looks like they're just going to go for the kill as Mithril goes around for the flank. Gonna take Hunter from behind. Yep.
Nope. There we go. Yep. There's the final kill. A minute remaining, so Notorious did take that a bit more slowly than anticipated. But considering we are on a large map and both teams really haven't done quite well in Snow Peak, it's not exactly a surprise. The Snow Peak, you are supposed to play it very, very differently than obviously Subsbury or Cargo, because if you did that, you're not having a good time. For those who may not be familiar with Onward here, as we do have 24 viewers currently right now. The Onward is a first-person military simulator that is done in VR. It is purely you inside the headset and physically moving your body around, also with a little bit of stick movements to go forward, backward, left, right kind of a thing for strafing. But if you're turning your body, you are physically capable, but you can physically turn your body, and that's where you will then start walking. You're crouching down physically, and to prevent yourself a lower profile in game. If you're laying down in person, you will be laying down in the game. That said, you also have free hand movements too. The object of Onward is to take a 7-digit code. If you are on the MARSOC represented by the U.S. Marine Force Recons, take that 7-digit code off your 5G tablets and punch it into the satellite uplink that you're seeing in this little mini map here, the screen, and get that 7-digit code in successfully while staying alive. You will get 2 points when we are playing a race to 4. If you kill everybody, you simply get 1 point. And chat in game is very audible between both sides. It is all proximity based, so if you say something and there's an enemy nearby, they will absolutely hear you. Lots of little details outside of that behind the game, but that's the basic premise. Get a 7-digit code into the uplink, and then you get 2 points and get closer to that 4 round.
I don't know where I'm going. Primordial's gonna get the quick spawn, the self spawn, and to be said, yes, it is the capping. It involves a 7-digit code, but depending on how you are, you can do it in about 3 seconds. You can do it about 30 seconds. It's all about memorizing the code and punching a number, and just basically just a phone number you got to punch in. But you know, it is by no means easy, as you got to get within a small radius of that satellite. You got about 5 people trying to shoot you, trying to stop you from doing so. Teamwork and communication is the key in that matter. As good utility comes in from Primordial, as Wicca gonna have nearly 2 teams to contend with.
Uh-oh. Those shots missed. That's not good for Wicca here. Salty Food is exposed a little bit more there. Wicca pokes back out. They may end up getting shot themselves, but they could take out Salty here in a second. Hunter's going to come back over the hill, it looks like, but Wicca's got a handful on his plate here. A flashbang coming up and over from Hunter is going to get them quite well, and down goes Wicca.
And the backup fire from Mission over at the tower behind.
Yeah, right in front of this Jeep, he's down.
Not quite enough to survive. 5v4 in favor of Primordial.
There's one in south behind the bags.
As Salty is called out Mission.
Yeah, and he's not in a great spot here either. He doesn't really have a great way to get out of this without exposing themselves, but if they keep poking out, they are going to have one of these 2 or 3 lasers that are dialed in on their position eventually tag this head.
Salty Foo trying to make a flank, trying to get around to the side of Mission. Staircase is the only thing that's protecting Mission right about now. One thing to note is these players do not see the highlights or the letters or the lasers that we see in the caster view. What they see is pretty basic. Whatever you could naturally see in real life is what they're going to see in virtual reality.
Yeah, to give a little bit of an example here, minus the HUD, this is what Mission would see right about now. There's the sight, being able to look down that.
Behind the bags, they're not pushing it.
But it's a very, very minimal set of what they see compared to what we see here in third person. As we were talking about that, Salty does end up poking back around, getting one more on Notorious knocked out. Hunter's got a great angle here to onto Mad Matt, and their food does get one additional down. Now we are in a 1v4.
There's another one.
Primordial has a great opportunity to get in there and cap with a couple of smokes directly on this uplink. Chiggins is really going to need to sacrifice themselves or try to make this a 1v4 situation as best as they can to prevent that cap.
Yeah, this is what you want. You want to be completely outnumbering your opponent. Toss the smokes, toss the flashes. He has responsible, but Alex is going to say, nope, we just want 1 point, guarantee the win. Get the shot in the back. Gonna tie things up 1-1. Now off to a new objective now. As we play one objective twice. You get to attack it once, you get to defend it once. Now get the objective in the north hangar.
This is my favorite one.
Spicy. Yeah, you have to be spicy here.
This uplink gives you basically 3/4 of the map to start off with and kind of get yourself established in on Marsoc, but also give you a lot of cover as you really approach in, unless you choose the one route that doesn't give you the cover on purpose. They're coming across this lake here. It is done. It's doable by many. This is not my favorite way to approach it though. I would rather be approaching in from the north or the northeast or the pillboxes there. Just because it gives you a lot more cover. It doesn't give you as much visibility in here, but the majority of the team should sit down within this hangar realm or the courtyard and just kind of wait, because there's no other way to get in except for the south and the east, really. A couple of good spots here are along the fence line and the gas tanks, and of course inside you gotta really position yourselves just about right on these boxes, so that way you don't get shot in the leg or shot between the box cavities there.
See, I'm kind of the opposite. I prefer to go from the lake side. As, if you work in tandem with your teammates, if they can give you suppressive fire, you can wrap around your opponent from behind and do some real damage. Take out 2 opponents and get the cabin real quick.
Right.
Looks like we're gonna
risky.
Yeah, I'm going
to.
Yeah. But it looks like we're going to see a 2-3 split here, and it seems like with Notorious not greatly familiar with this map, they're going to try to get some eyes on early as best as possible. With Wicca kind of taking a very visible route in, with an MCX, it's going to give them the natural suppression capabilities here. But somebody, maybe Salty Foo, is going to cross out.
In there, but that doesn't mean. Oh, yeah, one is in there.
Yep, there's the call out of Salty, and down goes Salty real quick, giving away the entire team's position as to where they spawned in and how they're taking this approach.
And that's why you do not make open crosses. Bullets are not your friend. You are allergic to bullets, folks. Find cover as soon as possible. If you gotta move, get the nearest piece of cover, use smoke, or do whatever you can. Quite often as defense, you just want to find one spot and hold it. You're trying to deny access to the objective, so Celtic Boo was
shooting
kind
at me
of
in the
a
boob.
precarious spot at first. Thought he could find a better spot. Unfortunately for him,
the sniper tower to the
he
right
became a bit of a bullet magnet at the time.
Yeah, and there's the call out of where Hunter was, just nearby the sniper tower, but taking a look over here as to how they're set up, they're holding some pretty good traditional spots, as I was kind of anticipating. Mad Matt does get Hunter in that angle just briefly. Alex, if somebody comes in from the northeast, is relatively exposed there, but I don't think we're going to get that from the team right now. Looking at their current layout, Notorious is really making this push without 2 of their members. And they're way off in the distance. This could be a very, very dangerous thing for them, especially as Wicca is looking to start crashing in on this uplink relatively early on.
And that's what I mean by, like, Notorious likes to push. Wicca's pretty much the tip of the spear here with General Chickens and Mad Matt, kind of covering fire to protect Wicca as he crossed the lake. And with only 2, well, I guess all 3 members, Primordial defending the objective, Wicca just has to...
Woo! Look at those lasers. That laser was right there as they were coming around the fence. They probably should have stayed tucked back in on that fence line just to let the rest of the team kind of progress here. But Canadian with a great angle from this, like, I didn't really think of this particular angle holding all the way back here. This usually see somebody in this hut and facing more to the northeast, trying to kind of cut off or slow down the rest of the team there. But look at this. Oh, we got one laser coming all the way over from Marauder, where Alex was. There was their laser coming over this direction as well. I think with this pullback, that might give them a little bit more of an advantage, because they're going to have a little bit of a higher look in on this, but they're going to have to expose themselves a good amount.
Yeah, now we're going to see how General Chickens and Texas Mad Matt fare as they try their hand the same route that Wicca did. This time the definitely have to contend with Canadian and Salty Posey. And looks like Mithril could get a shot onto Alex Weiser.
Yeah, they were looking their each other's direction there. There's a few shots out that's going to get the call out, but unfortunately that round did not connect. Now all three lasers that can see that angle are looking this direction. Mithril is going to have to really, really take this carefully.
All I need now is a couple of smokes to create a little bit of chaos to force some rotations. And Notorious could get themselves a capping opportunity.
Yeah, and as we mentioned that here, Mad Matt is kind of holding steady there. Down goes Chiggins, while the rest of the team is starting to rotate in, instead of from the lake, down over actually here, coming in the northeast. They're trying to surround this uplink, which is very wise. And Notorious is very good at doing that on small maps, but they are kind of out of practice for these larger ones.
Mission does know where Canadian is. He hears this talking going on. Flash.
I don't know if that was going to connect.
15 is not bulletproof. So, right through it.
Yeah, they can actually, if they stood up a little
no.
more. Oh no!
Matt on objective. Could not take down Canadian as Mission gets the refrag. Now a 2v1 in favor of Notorious. Alex Weiser versus Mission and Marauder. Alex does get the pick onto Marauder.
Mission's out in the open.
Mission gets the refrag though. We're seeing a trade in Marsoc rounds here. 2-1 for Notorious, map number 1.
Let's see here. I'm seeing some chats from Operator Fishhead, and they're having some issues with donating from the UK. I think we're gonna have to figure that out with Lipinski here in a bit. Sorry for that kind of a regional issue. That's something we didn't really anticipate coming into the stream here. Nomad, do you mind sending Lipinski a DM asking how folks with UK or even globally can donate, since it looks like it's really only designed for the US zip codes. Coming back to that round, 10 seconds remaining. Notorious really spent a lot of that time getting to positions in the northeast and really trying to test those waters out as to where folks were early on. I mean, it worked out for them in the end. The last 10-second push, last 30-second push is a very, I don't want to call it dangerous, but a very fucker factor way to really crash in on the uplink. But in the end, it worked out for them, and we're gonna get back into round number 4 here in a second.
Yeah, slightly different spawn for Primordial. The same spawn as what they had in the previous objective. And they won't get spotted as quickly, but then again, they won't be able to get any early picks like they could before. Looks like it's going to be a 2-1-2 split going on for Primordial. 2 going west, 2 going to center, 1 going north. And we see on the defense we got something kind of similar. 4 people on objective. Then we got looks like Mithril Marauder. He's going to be the lurk. He's going to be the flanker. May just bump into Alex Weiser in the tunnels. But as I say that, he moves into warehouse.
Well, they are in the same, oh, I thought they were in the same. Looked like they were in the same here from here, but Marauder is going all the way around. They are really trying to get a good upper hand on this, but they end up passing Alex as they come in. All the while, we have Canadian starting to look for anything out in the open that they can peek, but unless they start taking a handful of shots. Alright, unless we start taking some shots here from Canadian, let's pop back over to Mithril and see what that's going to look like, as they are in a great flanking position, all while passing the action of Alex.
Pretty sure I got someone on those North House Ghosts.
Ooh, Alex gets an incorrect call out. I mean, they said they're pretty sure, but that ultimately wasn't the case here, and that's going to give Hunter and Salty Food a little bit of a disinformation as to where people are and what the team count is. So that's not going to really kind of lend a good hand here. But with that, Salty is really just trying to get anything out here, suppressing down folks in the outer parts where Wicca used to be, and where Mad Matt seems like he had to duck down and kind of get out of the way here briefly. These walls are semi-penetrable, but it's not.
There's one going left.
It's not a. Oh.
There's also one on the lake.
Yeah, we heard though that fall from the lake. That's gonna at least make the first kill against Primordial much better. Scenario for Notorious here. They're gonna have a little bit of a numbers advantage while Hunter is still progressing in just nice and slow. They have 3 minutes remaining. Alex is also still way out in.
Mithril has to make a move, as he does make a move, but it's the wrong one. So Captain sees, right, finds the flanker, all that effort from Mithril, and to no reward. I was gonna say he's gotta make a move as the rest of the Primordial hits the objective. Alex does find mission. It's gonna make things 4v3 in favor of Primordial.
We got possible -3 or -2.
Comes smokes from the north.
There's still one in the north. Alright, cool. Where?
Yeah, there's a little bit of communication going on here from Primordial, but the call-outs for somebody, or how many folks are down, is incorrect. They're gonna be walking into this with thinking a -3, but that is not the case. Down goes 2 more on Primordial. This is now back in Notorious's favor, with Hunter now getting shot at both by Chickens, and then Wicca now takes down Alex. This is going to be a good trade there. This is making it a 1v2 with 1 minute remaining, 50 seconds to at least kind of figure out how they want to approach this. They're going to have to either back off or really hunker down here, as Mad Matt is looking this direction. They do not win that gunfight, and Primordial takes Notorious takes round 3.
Our first bulk round of the map, and that is going to be critical. This is a very bulk. This game is very bulk favored. It favors the defense, and you don't have to run into the fence in order to make your attack. But these two teams have shown that they can attack, they can coordinate to some degree. Obviously, with these big maps, it's really difficult to actually coordinate your attacks perfectly, especially even for the best teams that have a hard time doing it. And I bet you that is going to be the round that really seals it. We're now into some close quarters fighting where the main tunnel objective. This is Notorious's home field. They like their small maps, like to push with them on attack. They could make it 4-1, possibly 5-1, and take back one away.
Yeah, I'm looking at the kill counts here real quick. So we are now 4 rounds completed here. Mad Matt is 6-2. Leading the team with that effort, and then Mithril Marauder is 5-3 and shortly behind them. On the Primordial side, Canadian Person is 6-3, which is great for them to be leading them off in Primordial, as they are still putting up a fight here. These kill counts are showing that Primordial is definitely knocking Notorious down, but it's really just the last remaining folks on the opposing team that they end up kind of getting their hands into dealing with, and actually trying to get those guys knocked out to get a couple of round wins. And with that,
We have to use partial, yeah.
First, we're gonna get that west quick spawn.
We're gonna go to East Tunnel.
yeah, this is going to be key for Notorious, as they are very good on the quick snaps and fast-paced rounds. So they're only a short distance away here from getting contact. Oh, I think I missed a turn. Yeah, I missed a turn in these tunnels. Still do it in cast review every now and then.
It's very easy to get lost in the tunnels in Snow Peak.
Not VLC on that backside.
And looks like
Look
a
at
very
that
good
defense.
defense from Primordial. As I say that, Salty Foo is roaming. My mission in 3 seconds.
Canadian and Wicca right here. Oh!
On me too.
Canadian just bursts out and gets Wicca in the face with Chiggins. Now trying to get that refrag, does not connect, but they're very aware of this position. Salty Poozy's going to be coming up from behind and giving a bit of support if Canadian does go down. Smoke out from Chiggins. It looks like they're going to be backing out and trying to take a different route here, but Mad Matt gets the first kill on... Yeah,
Salty,
get that.
Salty and Mission traded in the YouTube. Mad Matt with the confirmation kill to the head. Now a 4v3 in favor of Primordial. But we have seen Primordial take a man advantage early and then lose it towards the end. Hopefully, in their case, it remains in their advantage.
Yeah, we are seeing Mad Matt really starting to get close in with the uplink here. Lasers are starting to come in. Now we've got Alex holding off in the back snow here after a little bit of readjustment. Some smoke is starting to come out on the doorway, at least obscuring a little bit of the visibility here. Boozy is going to contest this with a flashbang that doesn't connect with Mad Matt because they were behind that box, and then double back on the other door. Chickens is still looking for this connection point here, saying a couple of quick rounds, saying I'm not done over here with you.
You trade in the center. Chickens all the time, looking for Canadian.
And Mad Matt does get hit in the face with the flashbang as they did a quick blind fire spray through there. Alex had a great throw on that, right on their feet.
Yeah, Alex with doing a great job with throwing three smoke grenades away from objective, giving his team visibility on the objective. So that's some good thinking on his behalf, and that's really slowed down this offensive push. We're now in a 3v2 in favor of Primordial still. Make that a 3v1 as Canadian sneaks around the corner of the crate, gets the kill on the chicken. It's all down to Texas Mad Matt now. 2 minutes 50 seconds left on the clock.
Yeah, if they keep this push up from that doorway, I think they're most assuredly going to encounter some issues there.
Yeah, when you're last man up in something like this, the best thing to do is to rotate, attack from a location that they haven't seen before. In that case, it would be the south, the very south end of the tunnels, as they know you're in center, possibly north. It's time to attack from different locations, somewhere where you're not expected to be. Get those picks, rotate some more, and just do it back and forth, just whittle down that defense until you either create a capping opportunity, or B, just eliminate all members of the fence.
Yeah, and following Mad Matt, we can hear Canadian walking around trying to at least figure out where they're coming from. Mad Matt is approaching this nice and slow, though. I think Canadian's just a little bit too comfy right now with being out in the open here. Being a little loud. Mad Matt is very keenly aware of his position.
Yeah, we don't have much for comms from the fence, and Canadian's got his gun down. That's dangerous.
Oh no!
Nice little flex there will give Primordial
My heart
their
is like
second
a
point.
jingle popper.
This will keep Primordial alive. As it'll be their turn to attack and possibly end the map with a cap.
Oh, I just put it on the wrong side. Let me fix that here. Scoreboard -1 and up on that. There we go. That was an excellent awareness flick as to where Mad Matt was. Absolutely aware, excellent flick there. I think the only thing that Notorious might have been able to do different was at least put somebody on the opposite side to push in from, because then they could have at least distracted and split up the team a bit, because the Primordial had two, I think it was Salty and Alex, sitting on the containers and the rubble pile. While they were facing opposite directions, they could have at least distracted one and made Salty a little bit nervous with somebody behind them effectively, because that really would have changed the dynamic up, instead of approaching all from basically the left-hand side of this, or the northern side if we want to use cardinal directions. But Primordial.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you good. You're
No,
on the pro.
Primordial, depending on what spawn they get here, might actually have a bit more of an opportunity to kind of slow this pace down and set up a little bit more for that all direction push that is so critical on this uplink.
We'll see if Primordial can capitalize on the mistakes that Notorious made. We kind of saw where first the north attack, then the center attack, back to the north. The collision where everyone attacks at the same time. As I mentioned before, it's very difficult to do it, especially the best teams on the biggest maps. As we see the other quick spawn
Let's do
from our
this.
Sock
No homo.
Garage,
Yeah, I
we
have
should
no
see some
socks
early
on.
contacts going on in the south.
And if you are joining us a bit later on in the first few minutes, this is a charity event, so as you see the items on the scoreboard for the donation quantities and a quick tiny URL link we had generated, feel free to take a quick peek at the site, donate if you feel so inclined. This is raising awareness and helping veterans out with mental health and preventing suicide, or giving them a different way out of it, to at least kind of ensure their mental health is taken care of. With that, we have a trade outside, and Notorious still has the one up. They couldn't get this revive if somebody does double back here.
Nice
-1.
round corner pick on the Texas Mad Match. That makes things a 3v4 with that revive. No one's on the north side of the objective. Salty's gonna get a tap in right now as Alex finds Mithril. Smoke's blocking the way. Here comes Salty. Tablet out on the
Through the
objective.
smoke.
He is capping. He can end it right now. He has!
He's gotten it. That gives Primordial the map.
Let's go!
All of that chaos they were able to create gives the opportunity for Salty to sneak in there and get the tablet out with capping that. That is going to give them a 4-3 and taking a first map.
And that is why you always play the objective. You always make sure you have coverage on all sides, and you always use the radio. Unfortunately for Notorious, they get comfy, knowing that they can see one side objective, not realizing that they have lost one in the north side of it. And just it'll only take a few seconds there. Salty only need about 3-4 seconds there, and you get the code in. And that's all it takes. One cap can really turn things around.
And with that, we should be going to Suburbia here, and there is the load-in sounds for it. This is really a big favorite of Notorious, so this might turn things around for them. getting this a tie game is my anticipation here. But Notorious may run into a little bit of an issue if they get if they do let Primordial get in on this uplink, because as we just saw, it only takes a couple of seconds and a good code and you're done. You got that 2 points there. What are the stats for Primordial?
Suburbia Day per se is 3 for 4 with a 58% round win ratio, whereas Notorious, this is kind of their #1 played map where they are 5 for 7 with a 62% round win. Both teams have been doing well and during their season for Suburbia, but as mentioned before, both these teams are playing at 2 different skill levels of teams, opponents, so that may have an effect, but we saw with Snow Peak, that doesn't really mean too much if one guy can sneak it from behind and punch him in the code for the cap.
And bringing it back up to the Stackup Charity event here. Founded in 2015, Stackup brings both veterans and civilian supporters together through the shared love of video gaming through their primary programs, the Stacks, Supply Crates, Air Assaults, Stackup Overwatch program as well. Each of those are different programs that provide different methods of gaming to veterans. And as I said, it's all about a mental health thing. The Stackup mission, let me peruse the site here real quick. Stack programs gives volunteers the opportunity to develop a range of skills such as public speaking, teamwork, leadership, problem solving, adaptability, planning and prioritizing work, making an impact for the community in a positive way. While the supply crates, if I remember correctly from my military time, this is where the video game packages really come in for deployed soldiers. Yeah, video game care packages are full of the latest games and consoles sent to deployed units and veterans who are in need. So that is what we're all about here today. Again, the tiny URL link is there, so that way it's a quick, easy way to get to the site and check out what they're about and donate if you feel so inclined. They are looking to shoot for $10,000, as you can see here on the scoreboard bar. So if you feel so inclined, please do help out and assist the the mental health awareness and the suicide prevention efforts that Stackup is doing for military veterans of all sorts. Looks like we are seeing a couple of player roster changes here.
Yeah, it looks like General Chickens was replaced by Llewellyn, and Nickel Marauder was replaced by Captain Soda.
I think we saw Soda in the stream earlier too.
Yeah, I saw him in chat there for a bit. Two more of Force's main roster joining us today. There's no substitutions coming from Primordial, so see if these changes will have an effect. We should be starting map 2 shortly.
Yeah, they do get a couple of minutes to plan things out, get people swapped out, as folks do have different strengths and weaknesses for the shorter or the longer range maps. Looks like we are going to be starting off here in the northwest on the Humvee.
Yeah, objective house Suburbia is a very linear map of the price. You can break it down to 4 lanes, usually going north to south. This one breaks it down going east to west, so it really changes up how you play this map, and create some interesting capping opportunities given its location.
Looks like Salty's going to be going up to the center building window there, checking what they can get, while Hunter and Alex are going to be approaching this from the far east. Might run into Lure in a second here. And if they do get them out, that'll at least give them a different approach in than the rest of Notorious is really kind of set up for here. Soda's getting a little bit peaky, but nobody's over there in that lane 1 just yet here. Salty Foo, look at this. They are nice and prone, slowly proning through, getting eyes on the uplink. All they really need to do is get the team kind of repositioned and then put some smokes on it to get the opportunity to go in. Shots out from Mad, though. At least going down towards Canadian Person. Getting that head ducked back in a little bit, but they're going to have to watch their own in a second here as well. Marauder definitely able to hear the footsteps and chatter of Salty.
In the trade in lane 3.
And all of a sudden, just like that, we are down to a 2v1. Oh! A C4 up and over in the yard. And they take out the last one of Primordial.
There is nothing sweeter than hearing the round end from an explosion. Be it a nade, the M203, or in our case a C4. Nothing says, sweet, you won, like, boom, and it's over.
Alright, I'm seeing the VR Master League venues has wrapped up here. Welcome everybody who's just joined in from the raid. Hope you had a good time over there with Nightfire and Lord Visceral. Now we got Notorious on this side of the fence and the attacking side here with their favorite map in hand. I'm expecting them to really kind of assert dominance all the way up to the center point and then just kind of slow down. They know what they're doing in this map. They got lots of little angles they can hold. These, if you are new to the Onward and you still stuck around through map 1, these hedges are penetrable. You can shoot through them and you can kill people with no damage reduction at all. But if you shoot somebody through, say, this wooden fence here, they are going to have a little bit of damage reduced. It does give a little bit more opportunity to survive if you get a quick duck down out of the fire and at least get that syringe into your body to kind of keep you from bleeding out. But these Hescos and the sandbags are not, so they are good safe places to hide behind.
Yeah, and as we get to round number 2, we see a new spawn, the second of 2 spawns this objective. As we have guessed, Marsoc do have multiple spawns going around in the objective, so it gives them a element of surprise with their attack.
Early shots out. Yeah, early shots out from both sides, trying to at least get these heads pinned down there. That 203 did do its job of slowing down the pace of getting everybody onto the Humvee and defending it, but Hunter and Salty do make it into their final positions effectively. Mithril Marauder just around the corner from Hunter here. A little bit more of a peek out from Hunter, and they could be seen.
We did have an early trade between Alex and Captain Soda over in the playground. Open things up a little bit.
Hunter's got a nice long look at this this hedges here as well. It's going to at least give him a little bit more opportunity to get a longer line of defense, but Salty Foo is around the corner from Lou, but as they are doing so wisely, it seems, holding still. Yeah, I thought we saw somebody on lane 4. Could have been wrong there quick though. Let's see if Salty's going to be able to hear any of this. Yeah, they can hear a little bit from Marauder. That laser is dialed in on them, but that pre-fire is not going to be effective. It's going to give their position away, though, as well. Counter suppression as well. At least saying, hey, somebody's in the head, just let's get that going. Oh! A frag grenade downing Marauder. Very well thrown. And down goes Lou. Mad Matt's gonna have to watch their head here as Canadian is looking this direction. Uh-oh, and there's a headshot from them. Notorious really having a lot of their work cut out here as Salty is holding the playground. Oh, I'm sorry, they are down in the playground, but Salty Poozy gonna have somebody come up from behind them. This is Marauder. They were exchanging some fire. Oh, a trade out in the end there. They were exchanging some fire earlier where Mission now holding, but it was a 1v2 with Salty Foo able to at least get some callouts of when they see action happening over in the playground. 3 minutes remaining. Mission's gonna get a little bit of an opportunity to reposition here, but they gotta have to watch how they approach this as Canadian and Hunter are still over that way.
Yeah, this is where those rotations can come in real handy. From all the action came from lane 1, lane 2, so create a bit of noise here and then rotate to lane 4 or even lane 3 would be a good play to make, just to force the defenders to guess where you're going to come out next.
Yeah, Mission couldn't come up on that playground. Uh-oh. And there they go, down by Canadian. Not seeing the body on that that sandbag there, and kind of taking a little bit more warning. Things like even a little bit too much exposure. So that's going to tie it up. Notorious taking a very nicely played, Primordial taking a very nicely played round in defense there. We're now moving in on the tank, which is also pretty capable because of the amount of smokes you really need just to get in on the tank. And got lots of cover, giving you the lower profile presentation as you get in there.
Yeah, and you need to have control. If you're on defense, you control 2 buildings. You control the sector house as well as the spawn house. Two buildings you can enter on either side of the street, whereas Marsoc really just needs to control one of them. As if you're on one side of the house, you cannot really see the captain operating on the other side of the tank. So
Yeah.
defense need to have control of both houses, both sides of the tank. You want to have a secured hold on the objective.
And for those who did come in the raid and have stuck around, this is a charity event for Stackup, which does assist with giving veterans a bit of more comfort in gaming instead of going kind of a bit of a downward spiral with some mental health issues. Giving them an out from what they may consider to be the last straw and consider suicide. So gaming from Stackup is helping prevent just that with giving consoles and games out, both old and new, especially the latest ones going overseas to help kind of get a little more relaxation and escape from everyday life out there on the lines. So while we are here on the scoreboard, check out the link and the donation page to contribute if you feel so inclined. Lou in a great spot, while Alex and Salty are going to start coming in on playground. They're going to take it a little bit more cautiously, but Lou's going to hear these footsteps here. Soda around the corner from Salty Foo as well, not checking that way initially, but Soda wasn't prepared for it as they come through. Lou is still over there, able to at least get a flashbang up and over. They're going to cover the late angle on this. And Mad is going to get Salty out of the commission from going behind the tank.
As Lewiller does find Alex. Lewiller is the last member of the defense still up. It's a 3v1 with only 1 minute into the round. Lots of smokes everywhere. Luar could be on a slide in the playground, trying to use their advantage. We'll see around. Does find Hunter.
-2, -2.
Canadian Persona did take shots at Llewellyn, could not land them though. Llewellyn does recognize now that they are last one up. Wants to crash back to the tank as Persona looks to his right, finds and takes down Llewellyn as in the first horizontal win of the map. It's gonna make it a 2-1 round so far. Primordial.
I'm kind of surprised Salty Poozy didn't seize the opportunity for where they were position-wise and getting in on the tank. Kind of surprised there. I was expecting them to be able to run up a little bit more freely from those sandbags in the middle house and get in front of the tank for the cap. That was my anticipation as to what was going to happen, especially with Lou so far off site and having to collapse back in. But as we saw, Canadian did get the final kill there while they were coming in on Lou's original spot.
I think they were relying on Salty Poo after getting that pick on the Cat Soda burning house to try and wrap around using smokes as cover, but Mad Matt on tank itself using the cover it provides in that early kill. Each other shutting down just before he can reflect himself.
Well, we're going to see Notorious on the attacking side here, and given the experience they have on this map, I'm kind of expecting a halt on the hedges and try to get a couple of picks and sounds early on to give away the position where Primordial is, and then just kind of picking them apart. But let's pop back in over on Primordial here, see how they're gonna set up.
I'm playing so well.
Hey, whoever would say my name was
The
Canadian.
opposite spawn is what Primordial had. I believe they had the lane 1 spawn.
Canadian, if you manage to drop 12 kills this game,
We're gonna see
I don't know what I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna do something.
Offense.
I'm gonna do something.
4 members lane 4, 1 member lane 1.
Yeah, look at this. All 4 who were pushing the playground have pinned down at least Salty Food here. They're gonna get us stand up and probably get this team to slow down. Their down goes Mission. Soda and Lula are gonna have to watch their sides. Lula goes down to them as well. Salty Food in a critical spot here to slow down this team.
Nice pre-fire from Salty to take down Llewellyn. Using that PKM to its fullest advantage. Getting the few picks that he can and just holding them down, holding them back, as Salty will trade with Matt. Matt, though, is resible on a school bus. It's going to make things a 3v2 in favor of Notorious.
Yeah, Mithril here has come around for a flank, but taken their time to get back over into the action. Looks like they were trying to be a little bit of a slower flank and a bit of a lurker, but with how quick everything had happened over in the playground, that didn't really work out as well as I think the team was kind of hoping for.
And this defensive setup may work against them, as Alex and Hunter cannot really support one another. They can watch different angles of approach, but if one goes down, the other cannot really go for that refrag. So this defense could work against them.
Yeah, Hunter clearly could be here. Oh! An excellent throw with that. This is going to leave Alex the lone one to defend this from the center house and focusing in a couple of different directions. It looks like they also are using iron sights, which is not your standard loadout for Volk here. Not really not standard loadout for a lot of kits, but Alex is going to charge out and challenge where those smokes came from as Mithril comes around and Soda gets the kill from behind. This is going to tie it up to 2v2, and I think Notorious might have a bit more momentum behind them for this map here.
Primordial was leaning a little bit too much on Salty Foo to try and stop the attack. He was in a more or less a 1v4 for a good chunk of that round, relying on him to stop that onslaught. His kind of a recipe for disaster. Teammates did try to support as much as they can, but ultimately it came down to positioning of the defense and the overall support coming from the offense, the refrags, for the team on ahead, plus that really good change.
Yeah, that was a great nade. Somebody clip that. We can get enough clips for this charity event. I'll throw together a highlight reel for Stackup themselves on how things were presented here and how things had gone down. But we are moving into the center house here. It's a very common place to hide, very common place to rush into, and it is very capable in all of 30 or 40 seconds if you get fast enough person from Primordial in while on Marsoc. This is going to be a heavily contested area, so we're going to have to keep a close eye on this, especially in the back door, as had a false start there, looks like.
One spot to keep an eye on for a cap is not used terribly often is actually the master bedroom. Anywhere along that wall next to the objective in the bedroom there, you can cap from. Most people tend to just run into the living room, secondary floor, and just be right on the objective cap. Where if you can get into the master bedroom, you can cap there, and it makes it that much difficult for defenders to chase you down.
Yeah, you gotta fight your way through that if somebody is up there, though. There are a couple of nice little hidey spots inside the center building, too. Both inside and outside. Looks like the Primordial did have one drop out. Might get a brief pause here to get somebody in.
Look at the lost Salty Foo. Looking at the kill feed, me and Persona 62 currently leading his team. Obviously, Salty may have had greater kills. We won't know because he just got back in. Meanwhile, it's Llewellyn 5 and 4 leading the way for his team. As we load in, Primordial will take the lane 3 spawn, which is usually the most preferred spawn for this objective here. Wanting to rush in there for the cap.
And Alex.
Yeah, I'm expecting somebody to at least pre-fire this, whether it be from Primordial or the Notorious side. Apparently it's not going to really happen, though, because that would have at least given a bit of an opportunity to knock out one or two, and Salty Poozy is coming all the way up here near, going to be contesting Mad Matt. Does get mad, goes out the front door, gets missed, and goes up the stairs to finally be taken out by Soda.
Turn. He's gonna rush up the stairs as well. And
also
again,
gets shut down.
Say, not you. Get out of my house.
The flare gun also in there to distract a bit. What is going on? Luther goes and takes out Hunter, making this a 2v2 now. And gets Canadian, makes this a 2v1. Favorite defense. Alex is inside the house yet again, looking for wherever Soda may be. Handful of rounds out on Lou. Lou knows exactly where they were. They're gonna have to duck out of here, go to the carport, exchange a few more rounds. Soda is gonna be listening for these. Lou's gonna come around to the opposite side, pushing this car, and takes out the last Primordial. Alex with a headshot.
Jeez.
What a battle. Yeah, even Notorious was feeling that there. Woo!
This VR has a means of playing with your nerves. I can tell you from experience, from stuff like that happening, it is just stressful.
Yeah, your adrenaline gets pumping real quick there.
Yeah, it's not uncommon, especially if you're a capper, to get the cap and find out your hand. You cannot keep your hand still. You know, from personal experience, where you get the cap in, you're trying to draw plans on the board, and instead of just a nice neat line, it's all just a bunch of swiggly marks. Your hands are just shaking so much from the adrenaline. That's what VR does to the mind.
You know, my handwriting goes on the board without even the adrenaline rush. It's horrible as it is. People have to rewrite my G's on the board for where I'm going, where I'm looking, and let alone if I get a cap in there, which is not very common for me. I'm even more shaky. It's like somebody just draw my plans on the board at that point, because it's not happening. My heart rate's getting too much here, and I'm suffering.
But we'll see how Notorious attacks it now. They like to play aggressively, so let's see if they will return the favor. See if maybe they can come up with good results and tie the series up 1-1.
Yeah, Primordial was in capping range. I think they were really going for it, really pushing for that because of the fact that they wanted to take map number 2. It is a best of 3 here for this charity event. So the second map 1 would have given the good lead. Let's see if we're gonna get the pre-fire. Canadian is going to take that opportunity, not connect though with anybody as they split out on the opposite sides to avoid that there. And a couple of frags and flashbangs. Woo! Mission and Mad Matter feeling that effects there. Salty Fuji coming out with a rush. Oh no! Mad Matt, I think, is unaware of what just happened. And Salty gets one more. Notorious is getting chopped.
I got -2 on me.
There's the down.
Go.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. The body flew for Mad Matt. He can't confirm him. There he goes. There's a good kill.
Hunter might find Mithril. Lane 1.
Mithril, like, just kind of seemed like there was something going on with a headset tracking issue because they were tucking in on that hedge line there. This is now going to make it a much tougher fight for Notorious to come in. Soda's going to come in from the playground, see if they can find anything. But, oh, regrouping after realizing it's only a 2v3.
And
they were trying to
60 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, looks like they were getting a body count there even. 60. But Mad Matt's got 2 down to him nearby him, so they could at least realize that this is a 2v3 here. Hunter called out by Mad Matt, just holding still, and as we said earlier, that proximity chat, if you aren't familiar with Onward, is very key.
Yeah, and you may not hear it very often, but sometimes it can work to your favor in the form that maybe you just want to have a conversation with the enemy. Maybe you just want to negotiate before you shoot him in the face. You know, sometimes here in cast of some good little banter, some joking around between the 2 opponents, having a good time. Not really hearing it here though. Both these teams are pretty serious. They want to win this match. They want to move into the finals. They want to win this tournament.
Soda checking the playground. Hunter is just out of the visibility there. You're gonna see that everybody's tucked in somewhere, but not where they're gonna be able to see. Alex is in the living room, it looks like, which is gonna give him visibility from the front, and also at least a little bit of a perspective of what's coming in through the back door.
South Street looks clear. Spawn also looks clear.
We got 3 minutes remaining. We can quite clearly see that Soda is trying to dissect where exactly the team is and where Hunter is. They're gonna really have to watch out as they approach this hedge, though.
And Mad Matt is finally starting to move, sitting on the patio for the last about 2 minutes there, looking for another flanker. It doesn't happen, so he's gonna rotate back to back up Captain Soda as they bump into Hunter.
Down goes Hunter, a key player for them there. That is going to this 2v2. 2 minutes 30 seconds remaining. Soda is got a good idea. The 3/4 of the map is clear. And that means they're going to have to figure out how they want to get inside this building or dissect the team apart. Salty Foo is not immediately visible from the front or the stairway either. Alex is holding patiently inside the living room. It looks like they got just enough cover to at least see Soda. If that smoke wasn't thrown, it was very wise to throw something there, to at least kind of cover the noise and the approach in.
Looks like Captain Soda and Mad Matt attempt a pinch. One's gonna come in from the back, one's gonna attack from the front. A nice look from Captain Soda through the master bedroom window. He's gonna partially blind Smoky or Salty Foo and create some noise. Oh! Soda with kill number 9 of the round.
And that almost turned bad for Soda as Alex came around and Soda wasn't fully prepared for this. Lasers coming in from Salty Foo, looking down here. They're still out of the window range. Another piece of utility. There must have been something handed off for grabs. The frag grenade. Oh, and there goes down Salty Foo with the headshot as they charge in. Not ready for Soda with crashing in so early like that.
Soda's gonna end the map Notorious with his 10th kill of the map.
Jeez. 10 kills for them here. What was their death count? 10 and 3 with 1 revived. Next guy up in line here is Lou with 8 and 5. And looks like we're gonna do a quick swap out of a player. Because we are now going to quarantine, if I remember correctly. It's quarantine.
Yeah, Captain Soda. Carry much?
I mean, Lou's 8 and 5 here as well. Mad Matt is an even 3-3.
Yeah, mission's gonna be buying drinks for the team as I believe he was 0 and 6. We're still supporting his team, but unfortunately not still the partner. Obviously, in a team game like this, skills don't necessarily matter. It's all about how you work the team, not how you work by yourself. Wild card map, as most maps are going to have about 4, 5, maybe 6 different objectives. Quarantine has 12. Being a large map, it has objectives in 12 separate locations. You can only play about 4 objectives in any round in our VRML ruling, that is best of 7 rounds. We only get about 4 objectives to play with, so to have to learn 12 objectives, only play 4 on any map at random, you really have to know your stuff on this map.
Yeah, sorry, just ensuring everything is good with a couple of things here going on. So, quarantine, yes, what are the stats on these teams? Hopefully I didn't miss that here as you're chatting. If I did, sorry, but what are the stats for both of these teams with recent events?
Quarantine for Primordial, they are 2 for 4 with a 50% round win percentage, whereas Notorious, they are undefeated. They are 6 for 6 with a 69% round win percentage.
Okay.
Just by the numbers alone, it's looking like a Notorious map. But a map of this size, it does favor bulk to some degree, so I mean, we did think that Snow Peak was going to be a victory for Notorious, and we were proven wrong otherwise, so we may see it here as well.
Yeah, we are starting off on the hospital for this uplink. So this is usually one that is a tougher fight to get in on, especially with how big quarantine can be in relation to a few other maps, and some folks may not like the amount of angles held here. Quarantine does give you lots of different angles you got to hold from an open kind of a position, such as on the AC and the crash impact building. There's lots to keep an eye on, and you got to take things slow to get your team in past the map halfway point, which is your really critical spot, because the halfway point on the map, with how large and complicated this one can be, is kind of key. If you don't get really past a couple of certain lines in here, then your team's going to get shut down real quick. Looks like we're still waiting on one for Notorious to hop back in. Soda's going to stick around. But we are switching a Wicca Wicca. Oh no, Wicca Wicca was out last round too, wasn't he?
Yes, yeah, and you know, Chickens has come back in. Yeah, this objective you can cap from the outside, obviously, but you can also cap from the inside of the hospital. There's a little corner. I'll post it right now. That little corner there.
All right.
You can actually cap there as well. So if you're last man up, you gotta be inside and outside the building at the same time. So you're constantly running back and forth, trying to get a 9 to cap. Remember, if they cap, they get 2. If you die, they get 1. So it's better to die and get 1 point as opposed to letting them cap and get 2.
Yeah, and since I had to quickly deal with something tech here, this is the corner that Nomad is talking about here. This inside piece directly underneath the stairway is cappable. So we're gonna have to see how Primordial kind of handles this, especially with not a lot of cover from the southeast approach, and a lot of wide open terrain for them to come in, for Notorious to come in from in the tank courtyard. A couple of smokes get some people across to the ambulance, and you're almost set at that point. But if they choose to take but depending on the spawn, because there are several more spawns on Quarantine compared to other maps, such as Suburbia is where we were just at. If they get a north or a western spawn, then that does give them the much more covered route to come in from.
Yeah, there's more cover, but it's also a more predictable approach. Whereas the eastern approach, yes, it is a lot more open, a lot more dangerous across, but most people will not approach from the east. That's also not so much a capping direction to come from, more of a supporting location. But we're going to find out shortly as round 1 of map 3 begins right now. Looks like Notorious will have the north spawn.
Positions,
Canadian.
Canadian.
Early kick.
Yeah,
They
well,
charge
look
up
at
the
me.
north
I'm
room.
like, they're
So long
looking
as someone from Primordial is trying to cross the street
Hi,
to the east side.
I just want to say how you're lovely.
As Captain Soda appears to have some issues, or nope, they're sorted out.
So we're seeing a very exploded defense here. Salty Foo's going all the way down in the garage, while Alex is covering the burning building. Salty came up into the embassy here as well. So they went very, very indirect into their position, but Lou is just looking for anything they can see in the burning building here. And just checking chat real quick, I see that somebody's having some hard time hearing. Let me turn up Nomad. Let's try that here for you.
And it looks General Chickens in the East 2-story. One of them should have an angle onto Salty Foo, but it's gonna be Salty Foo who has an angle onto General Chickens with a headshot with the suppressed G36C.
An interesting choice here. They still do
Unless
have
I'm
2
tripping and my
flashbangs.
graphics are really bad.
Also, they do not have body armor, so that could be... There's always a trade-off here, as when you make your loadouts here, there's 4 different classes.
Right behind it.
Rifleman, specialist, support, and marksman. You have 20 points. Each piece of equipment has a set point value. And so some of the equipment you may want, you cannot have just because you may be over on points. So body armor, I believe, is 5 points.
It is.
Most weapons, yeah, most weapons are about 3 or 4, maybe up to 6 points. Between 4 and 6. I mean, your sights cost points, the foregrip cost points, the nades cost points, everything's cost points. So you gotta find that balance between firepower, utility, and points to make the best possible loadout. So obviously, Salty Foo believes a suppressed G36 with 2 flashbangs and no body armor seems to work good for him, and so far, right.
Mad taking a few shots off to Salty Poozy as they were steadily watching that hospital stairway. Salty, I don't think actually got tagged there though. Soda is going to be coming around, just kind of testing out the waters on the direct approach, but Salty now get Lou from the front of the tank courtyard approach. Salty is really creating a little bit of a chaos and slowing the team down from this direction because of the fact that they are holding 2 different directions. But Marauder does get across ultimately. Tank courtyard is called out. Salty Poozy is no longer in that hospital courtyard, sorry, the hospital top there, but now in the courtyard. Gonna give a little bit of a change up to the rest of the team as they are starting to move around. Shots from Mad Matt, not sure exactly where that was going towards, but there's nothing in the street for them to be shooting at there. Alex is still holding still in the center burning building. They will have a good flank around here if they poke out to the southwest. Salty identifying Soda does get the ability to tuck back in, but now they're trapped and the trade comes out. Salty is only down, oh, I'm sorry, Soda is only down there. Hunter should be able to capitalize on this if they did poke out from the opposite side. They're choosing not to do that though. We can hear them communicating though, so that does give a little indication as to where exactly they're coming from.
Mental Marauder in a nice supporting position in the dunes to the southeast of objective. He's able to get any picks onto anyone who rotates around to objective. Hunter, there was a flashbang, does not connect, but his bullets will connect onto Mad Matt, but not onto Soda, as Soda's going to return the revive onto Matt. As Mental once again supports.
And Alex finally swings out and does get Mad Matt. Soda is now very keenly aware of this position here. It is a 1v2 now with 1 minute remaining. Salty Foo is still inside the hospital, and they're gonna really kind of keep this uplink defended and tucked in from that point. Soda is gonna have to figure out how they're gonna take this approach in, considering that Alex is gonna have an angle in on them as they approach this courtyard. Alex, I think, was a little unsure as to where we're going to poke out from. Does get in the street and take out Soda as they were previously injured. That is going to give Primordial the head start on Quarantine here. Map number 3, making this a hopeful for Primordial's sake on that point. But they are hoping to make a 2-map lead.
Great work by the defense there. Keeping them at bay as much as possible. Obviously, Soda was pretty much the closest member to objective at the gas station garage. As mentioned before, Mental Marauder to the southeast in the supporting location of the map he did get picked off by Salty Foo from hospital as he was making a wide open cross behind Cat from behind. But overall, there's a good job of defense to get those picks early, get them out in the open, and try and force those refrags. And then Alex there, it's a good ambushing position there. Just staying quiet, waiting until they pass by him. And of course, snapping the trap on them at the last possible moment.
Yeah, Alex was stayed nice and quiet and patient in the stairway, it looked like, for that center burning building. That was very, very critical for them to be as undetected as possible while the rest of the team got comfy and moved in, thinking that it was clear, but nobody was dedicated to going into that building in the first place, which made it a little bit more exposing for them to come in this courtyard, because the courtyard, you can see it in the little mini screen here, the gameplay is very, very exposed to that window. And even a frag grenade can be thrown and landed right in the middle of the courtyard and wound somebody, if not kill them as they're approaching it.
Yeah, and now we have to see how Primordial attacks. We saw how they did on defense. Let's see how they fare on the attack. As we mentioned before, lots of open crosses, lots of no man's land as round number 2 begins right now. And
We do have Wicca Wicca back in here.
he made his return, did he?
Going west. Everybody.
I'm gonna go down here and watch that west. I'll play
So he would have swapped up with
crazy.
Mythical Marauder.
Yeah.
Not excited.
I thought I saw a C4 on the chest of somebody here. I could have been wrong.
I can't even.
Would have been an interesting choice for this particular defense. Maybe it was on Lular. No, it was not. Soda's going to be pushing the gas station to really watch this southwestern approach in. They don't seem to be able to find anything early on, so that spawn is probably going to be called out as not given here. They're going to got the north. They're doing a 3-2 split between a far west push and over in on the embassy back patio there.
A very spread out defense, and looks like it is Texas Mad Matt way out to the east, looking for across that motel, while members of Primordial, Hunter, and Something Foo are gonna walk right past them. General Chicken should be hearing the footsteps though.
Yeah, Hunter, I think, is aware of where somebody could be hiding. They're just poking their head out and making sure there's nothing from this direction. Chicken's really gonna have to hold still there. But Salty Poozy did give the position of the 3 push away as they took some early shots on what they thought was something over behind the fuselage. More suppressive fire from or onto Wicca Wicca. Canadian ultimately is gonna have to duck their head down.
Nice stick by Hunter, being nice and silent, taking out Mad Matt. Outside of the courtyard, open up the east side of it.
Wicca does take out Alex that was crossing the back southeast there. They're still exchanging some fire off with Wicca Wicca here. Let's see where exactly Wicca. Yeah, they're just crouching down back here. Nothing too fancy, or peeking out with a lean on a little ledge there.
Within hospital, took out Salty Foo Embassy as Salty Pussy gets the refrag on the
Hold on, take courtyard. Still in there, I think.
Courtyard. Salty Pussy trying to get that refrag as well, but does not land the shots. Gonna make things a 2v2 with 3:25 left on the round.
And Soda's getting a little antsy, it looks like, here after realizing that push was kind of coming in at the same exact time from different directions. So it's As we were talking earlier, if you haven't played VR before, this is a very adrenaline pumping kind of a game, and you can really start feeling it nerve-wise with some hand shaking while you're punching in the code on the tablet. And also, it kind of gets you a little more antsy and a little more worried when you're starting to walk around a bit more, getting a little bit more of that heart pumping. Salty Poozy is now the last one remaining on Primordial. It has a general idea where Soda is, but they're trying to figure out how that angle is going to look. Wicca is opting to hold the hospital top still, able to hear any sounds from below as well, which is going to give a little bit more of an identification of where somebody could be, but Poozy looks like they're going to try to come in from the ambulance side. Gets a few rounds over on Soda, given where the position. Wicca's going to come up on top, it looks like, and try to get that angle. Soda just barely missing the head there on Salty. Does get one shot on that shoulder. Wicca is capable of coming around and dating this kill. So should they choose, and there it is. Headshot after getting a bullet to the shoulder there. Second round. Usually do this at a 3-round kind of a pace, but with how much action we had there, checking the kills real quick. Wicca with 3-0, Soda with 3-1, and Hunter with a 2-2, Salty Foo 3-1. So there's definitely some trading going on between the usual suspects still here, despite the bit larger map that we're presented here with.
Still appear to be sounding quiet, apparently.
I have bumped you up in Discord all the way that I can, even. Actually, I can go a little bit farther. My phone's blocking it, but you are at 200%. Oh, now I hear quite well with a fan in the background, so let's dial you back a little bit more there. But that should hopefully resolve the audio issues.
Either that or our viewers need to turn up their hearing aids. One or the other. I'm gonna go with the hearing aids.
Yeah, let's see how this works out. You definitely sound a lot more clear coming in on my side now.
I did make a slight adjustment.
So, we have relocated to the center burning building now. A very common location for the uplinks to be in, and Primordial is spawning directly on top of it, basically. Not seeing anything in particular from kit changes for this uplink.
And we're getting the same spawn from Marsoc in this did in the past 2 rounds. This is an objective that has, I believe, 4 different spawns for Marsoc.
Yeah, Salty Poozy, as they are going into the garage, does take a round or 2 from Wicca, with Mad Matt also looking to get a few rounds onto Canadian, but does run out of ammo ultimately. Chiggins coming right up on Salty Foo as well. They're definitely gonna be able to hear these footsteps. A quick drop down, and they do get that drop shot onto Salty Foo. This is gonna open up a little bit more on the western approach, but we still have Canadian Persona able to see partial on this western approach here. They are a little bit dialed in on Mad Matt. They're coming in.
We do see Hunter once again between propane tanks, this time next to North Roof, as Chiggins and Canadian Persona will trade. Chiggins going to be on the winning side of that trade, only down though. Although there's really no one around to get the revive, apart from Captain Soda, who has to cross open ground some more.
Yeah, they'd have to double back there. Alex goes down on the gas station, peeking out for where that kill came from on Chiggins, but... And finally, we got Salty Poozy and Hunter, who were just kind of tucking in all the way over in front of the AC and in the garage, taken out all at the same time, while the team kind of kept pushing just a little bit more on the eastern approach.
Yeah, and the thing that led to the downfall of Primordial there was it was a lack of support from the teammates. We saw teammates in good positions individually, but they were not really positions where should a teammate go down, they can get that quick refrag. It was everyone's kind of covering a separate angle, covering separate zones, and so once they lost teammates, there was really no means of getting a refrag and trying to even things up. And eventually, Notorious just kind of picked away defense one by one, until eventually there was really no coverage, and it was just a matter of taking down the last two guys.
Yeah, it's an interesting point because Canadian and Alex were covering a similar angle set between the back apartments, the the southwest apartments, and the Mercedes. I'm sorry, looks like a BMW based on the front, but either way, the white car there in the gas station, they were covering similar angles. Soda just happened to find Alex much farther later in the round than I think Chickens could with that angle. As we do come back in, we are now on the far northeast. Looks like we're gonna get a 5 push all the way up around to the north. So we're gonna check back in with them in a minute, as they are gonna get set up in the round here, round number 3. Oh, an early frag grenade, letting them know they're coming in on the AC, just in case somebody got quicked from the north. Had to do a little bit of deconflicting from Mad Matt with that frag grenade, but the no one's here call out is not going to be accurate in a second. This could turn in a little bad for them if they don't watch their left hand side, as Hunter's going to peek out of this back wall there.
Yeah, it looks like Mad Matt's main focus now is going to be the hole in the north wall where Hunter's going to be coming from, as Wicca is going to find Salty Pussy. And Wicca is going to be out in the open. Should get picked up by Hunter shortly. No. Wicca's going to find another kill on a second Salty, this time on Salty Foo, make things a 5v3 with a minute 10 already gone in the round. And Wicca's not done yet. He's going for more kills. He's on the prowl some more. Might just find Canadian Persona.
And it's interesting that Alex didn't push out. Alex or Hunter didn't push out there at all. There goes down Persona, or Persona, and that is a triple kill for them now. Alex is finally going to take this time to rotate back through the far warehouse and figure out what's going on, but I think it's just a bit too late for them.
Yeah, you see the defense, they're fairly convinced the way things are playing out, there cannot be anyone else in the north. They figure that if there's gonna be those three pushing out like the way they did, they can't foresee anyone being passive now in the north. But that might work against them.
Yeah, and I can't really blame them for that, because I mean, you got 3 kills. Wicca was all the way out in the open, and like fully exposed. But once somebody fires from Primordial now, it's gonna be oh hey, there's still somebody up and over that way. Somehow they were missed. It's gonna give away their position quite clearly, and I think we're gonna see Mad Matt flip around and Wicca start rotating again, as we are taking a look at that mini-map. Wicca is on the northeast part there. Hunter and Alex are just now finally starting to move here.
Matt's gonna find some contact right now. He does get tagged. Able to get the needle and call on the radio that they're still more in the north, as Alex is gonna get the first kill for their team in the round. Wicca on their way back, looking for the ace. But will get shut down by Hunter.
This guy up here might not be full dead.
They're going to confirm these kills, at least informing the rest of the team that this is a AC push now here. As Hunter is going to take a quick peek up there. Not going to see anything, but Soda also is looking a little bit late.
Looks like a rotation out to the west.
Yeah, Alex and Hunter are gonna have to really watch their movements here, because they have 2 minutes remaining and they got a long way to go.
And they got Soda and Diddle Chickens pretty much looking right at them. They gotta
Hunter.
try and either...
Yeah, Hunter's watching that angle on the burning building. They're very, very concerned about it. Chickens holding a very well defensible spot there, but not going to see anything as Alex crosses up in here to the 2nd floor. They're going to duck back in instead. They're really just checking for the glass building. See if there's anybody that was poking their way out. Is Soda going to recognize that this western approach is going to come in? Looks like they are going to start checking a little bit more here in a minute, but Chickens also recognizing that all that fire had gone down is no longer viable on the AC. We're going to see a later defense here on this, but Hunter and Alex only have a minute remaining. They have got to be pushing this now. They're now risking a lot of movement here with a good amount of cover, but Soda taken out from Alex with a quick pop-up peek there. Chickens now should recognize that they are the only one that can flank them and take them both out.
As we say that, the weather is going to crash back to objective. Here comes the smokes.
30 seconds remaining. Hunter needs to get on the uplink now and take out Liller. Chickens able to pop up and get a quick glimpse of both of them here. Both expending quarter mag on Chickens alone at the same exact time. Liller getting a few shots over on Alex themselves, crossing out in the street now with Chickens ducked under cover. Luller's got the defensive line there. Does get that kill, and Chickens gonna pop out from behind of Hunter as they come in. 5 seconds remaining. What is going to happen here?
But
Chickens defends it with 4 seconds remaining. What an intense last 30 seconds we had with Notorious picking that round up. Woo!
And great work at the end there for the defense. Wicca with a strong play, getting 3 kills, bringing his total up to 7 now after playing only 2 rounds, I believe 2 or 3 rounds so far. It wasn't looking that great there for Primordial right at the very beginning, as you really only had a 3-man push going on, and they got shut down by Wicca. Obviously the 2 remaining players not really in sync with the push to support, but it almost worked to their benefit though. They got it down to a 1v1. They almost had a capping opportunity, but Chickens there with just a good off-meta position to get that final kill. He could have played quiet, he could have hid and ran the clock, risking the cap, but just a good choice of popping up when he did and get that kill. But overall, just good plays from both sides in that round.
Yeah, Chickens had a really critical defensible spot there, especially if they kept pushing in from the AC, which was smart for them to not do. But if they had chosen to do so, that route down would have given Chickens a very perfect angle into a defensive point there. But the fact that they were able to recognize the fact that the western flank was taking place and really rotate around was definitely the key point there in the round there.
And looks like we got our new objective. This is the embassy objective. This one, it's tough to get to the objective, but once you're there, you can get a quick cap and you can end the round real quick. As Wicca with an early pick on the defense, taking down Alex, only down though.
Yeah, it was an excellent idea to keep an eye on that street, because that street crossing is a very critical point for the defense. If they can get somebody over, which they did get indeed. Salty Foo goes down to Soda, as both are taking the hospital top route.
On roof of
-1, 2.
The call out does get out.
dropping.
Yeah, Notorious is really having a hard fight come back in here. Primordial really holding down their exploded defense here, but they are open to being capped on from the south. If somebody gets across from the southern approach here with like Luther, who I believe is
downstairs, where's he at?
Yeah, communicating with the rest of the team, trying to find where Canadian was. They couldn't get a couple of smokes out and just kind of choose to really go for it. They have a little bit of room point-wise, but do they really want to risk Primordial going onto Marsoc with then a capping range to win the matchup for tonight and get farther into this tournament, into the finals, is the real question.
These 2 stories, 2nd floor now. Look.
And what a snapshot by Wicca, getting a kill onto Hunter as Jill Chickens finds Canadian Persona. That's going to leave all down to Salty Pussy, who is going to get the pick on Llewellyn, now in a 1v3. 4 minutes left on the clock.
Yeah, Salty's got a hard fight to really go forth here. They're going to go ducking underneath the embassy. Back up, it looks like, leaving the uplink fully exposed. Wicca, if they pushed in, could have had a good progression line up until this corner here where Salty Pussy would have at least combated him there. But they've got to worry about the other side as well. Chiggins and Soda are really taking their time to progress in on this. If we look at this angle here, Soda's got the angle for hitting. Yeah, I think they did get, they got the call out correct. Salty is going to have to now worry about 2 different angles with 3 players approaching from different sides.
All they need is General Chiggins and Captain Soda to just delay Salty, create much of noise to give Wicca the chance to push up a bit. Looks like Wicca's going to come in from the east, expecting to get a kill.
Yeah, Salty's going to duck back up on the other side. Kind of Soda and Chiggins a little bit of a run for their money over here, especially while injured. They do have a flashbang still available to slow that progression down should they start taking the street. But Wicca is also from behind. They could sneak their way in and get... Oh, there's the kill onto Soda, who was also injured earlier. Chiggins now knows exactly where Salty is. There goes the flashbang. Not going to connect with Chiggins. Wicca's around the corner.
Wicca with the push. Wicca's coming in for the
tablet
cap.
is coming out. Salty
cannot
is
stop
distracted. Is this going to be a 5-1? Wicca is moving around trying to find the range there. Salty is still over in the garage entryway. Wicca could not get that range out there. You know, I think he was hearing Salty moving around a bit. Just got to distract him, Chiggins. Wicca is directly on uplink. Tablet is now out, and this is going to go to Notorious. 5-1 quarantine. Wicca with 10-1.
I did hear the round before Wicca do. I did hear Notorious say, "This is Wicca's map." So I mean, they were not wrong by any means. Coming in late into the map with a 1-10-1. That incredible performance by Wicca.
And off we go now to Bazaar.
Yeah, it's classified as a medium-sized map, but it really plays as a small map, as you can pretty much break this map down into quadrants, where you're gonna see all the fighting come in. Just looking at the stats for these teams, Primordial is 1 for 4 with a 39 round win percentage, whereas Notorious, they're 1 for 3 with a 33 round win percentage. So neither of these teams have had much success so far in the season 13, which is still ongoing. But someone's gotta win this, and I believe Notorious is just 1 map win away from winning this match and moving on to next weekend's finals.
While we have a quick break here, I'm gonna go grab a little bit more water and hit the bathroom. I'll be right back in with the gameplay here in a second. We have a minute or two between rounds here. Notorious is going to switch out one more, so be right back. Looks like we have not started here yet. I'm not sure what the delay was, but sorry for that quick breakaway there. Mission is going to be swapping in for
Blue Weller. No,
wow.
no.
No, they're still there.
No, Mad Matt.
They were. They might have done a good swap out because they are also good on this map, especially with coming in on the courtyard. We do have the quick spawn on the Marsoc side here. They are talking about the pre-fire in this, so it's just a matter of seeing if it's going to happen or not. It is not going to. Wicca is going to get into position uncontested here, but it also gives Primordial a chance to get in position without. Oh
no!
I just killed one pushing out. One crossing north and far west.
I don't think they realized that was a TK there either.
One made mini market, he's north.
No, just called her. He killed one.
That was pushing up, and yeah, that was not the right one to shoot there. Alex and Salty are gonna hold off here at the halfway point on the map, as Chiggins does make it an even 4-4 fight now. Luler is gonna get a bit of action from both Hunter and Salty Poozy. Yeah,
Luler in a nice ambushing position. The only problem is these shacks are not bulletproof. If they suspect someone's there, just a little bit of pre-fire could end it.
Able to hear these shots. What is going on? There's the quick peek, and gonna gonna double tap him there afterwards, but Salty Poozy and Alex now keenly aware that Luler was over that way. They're gonna duck back a little bit farther though.
It's the right thing to do if you're on defense. If you get a pick, even if you don't get a pick, if you shoot, the best thing to do is to rotate back a bit closer to objective, because that's gonna force the offense to try and clear the location out. That's gonna waste time. Remember, if the offense runs out of time, defense gets 1 point. So doesn't matter if you kill them all or if they just run out of time. You win, you get a point. So if you can waste as much time as possible, let them try and crash the last possible second. It's gonna make them panic, and it's gonna throw them off. And looks like Chicken's gonna get thrown off by the bullets from Canadian Persona. It's gonna make things a 3v3 with 3:50 left on the clock.
Yeah, it was interesting that Chiggins had rotated all the way back out of the northeast courtyard and kind of held up there instead of crashing back in on the objective for a defensive line. But I don't think now the team is going to be prepared for that far northeastern push there. As Lulu does get that down, it does potentially leave Salty to be revived here with a little bit of effort from Alex to kind of double back here, but they could also be peeking through these pallets and getting a little bit of an angle to see if somebody's coming in through that courtyard. The problem is we have Canadian on the other side of the wall here, and I think Mission did hear that. Quick check the tablet. Yeah, it does say that somebody is over here, and it's not friendly. Canadian now in the same building. Here comes a flashbang. Sorry, yeah,
the flashbang.
A little bit of suppression fire for safety, but they are hitting the couch there. Oh, and that one I don't think actually hit because it was landing directly on the couch. There's the revive. Now Soda's at least got to be worried as to Canadian coming through here uninjured. And also Lou is looking this direction here too, giving a little bit of backup. Soda's going to contest it directly head on, at least down them. Are they going to come over and confirm this? Because somebody, Canadian, is whispering.
And Soda's going to whisper back with some bullets. Gonna stop that as we now have a 2v2, 140 left on the clock. Smokes are coming in, lots of smokes coming in. Trying to obscure the line of sight in the south. Salty Pussy hanging back for some overwatch as Alex charges in. Might find Llewellyn.
Salty is now leaving Alex to contest this alone. Soda is going to shut that down with a headshot. This is now a 2v1 with 1 minute, 10 seconds remaining. Salty Pussy aware as to where somebody was, but they were looking for Soda and they should have been looking for Lure.
Yeah, and I said it before and I'll say it again. You have to be supporting those teammates. We saw there, of course, Salty thinking that he just hang back and look for rotations. Didn't work out as Alex had a different mindset of wanting to charge in there and take out whoever he can. Fortunately, Alex did get taken out by Soda, who was off to his right. There wasn't really any support for the refrag, and when you're left by yourself with a 1v2 and you don't know where anyone is, yeah, it's not easy. It doesn't really end that well either. So.
And this uplink is particularly hard to cap as well, at least get people in for it. So you got to work as a team, you got to push as a team.
Yeah, there's so many different angles that you can be shot from no matter where you are in that compound. The ideal location to cap actually is a few seconds here. It's actually just right here on channel 2. You just put a few smokes there, you're just within the edge of the capping radius. That is the primary point for capping, unless you want to risk it and try to cap behind the tree.
But even then, this uplink doesn't give you a lot of cover at all. You really got to stick to the outer edge. You usually see folks coming in from that northern approach, either from the inside or that hallway. But there's not really a great spot overall because you have no cover from the barrels even. It's way too far out. You really got to get in about 5 feet from there. That said, looking at our viewer count here, we have 39. We've gone up and down a bit through the event today. If you have not stuck around the entire time, you are new to the cast, relatively new in the last couple of rounds. This is a charity event for Stackup, and they provide a means of entertainment and mental breaks for veterans with gaming, consoles, and games. Gaming is our passion. Veterans are our mission. Gaming is our passion is the motto. So if you want to check out the site, there is a tiny URL underneath Nomad's picture there. And we are looking to try to get closer towards our $10,000 goal here. I'm still, let me get this browser for refresh here. Make sure that is the most up-to-date number. And we are now coming in with the same spawns, with Primordial now defending this. Notorious is not going to choose to take advantage of that pre-fire lane as well.
Yeah, no pre-fire whatsoever so far in this objective both rounds. Captain Soda's just kind of saying, screw it, I'm going for the objective, with or without you. And he's already at the block, southeast corner. And,
yeah, they're already halfway in the map. It's a little bit dangerous without the rest of the team there, especially with this road usually being pretty well covered. They're not going to... But Primordial's not going to cover it coming in, but they're going to cover all of the entryways as best as they can. Hunter directly on the spot. Not many people seem to sit there, from what I've at least seen played and casted. Salty Foo's holding in the building, looking for a southern push, but they may not see that for a little bit until Lou comes all the way up a little bit farther. We are going to see a bit of a push in the north, though. Wicca is going to try to find anything they can with this angle, unless Canadian Persona does not choose to sit and tuck in and kind of expose themselves. A little bit more in the back here. Notorious is not going to see anything.
Alex is getting a little bit peeky. He's on Main Street. He's just got to stay tucked right now, but even then, he's a little bit exposed to the north. See the gunfire from Llewellyn, a little bit of pre-fire.
Back in there.
Primordial is playing a very condensed defense as Wicca downs Hunter.
-1.
Chicken's gonna steal the kill from Wicca.
Interesting. It was one to the right of that staircase. I don't know if that was him.
That makes things a
Alex is
5v4.
Try to get this Molotov out. Does not land the throw. Salty Poozy is watching this angle here. It is a very common entry point, but call for smokes, at least to distract or get a little bit of something there. Alex goes down with Salty Poozy, now ducking back and not watching that angle. Does get hit by Chickens. This is now a 5v2, 5v4 as Lou does cross out into the street. Finally on the red car.
Soda's gonna find Salty Foo, but Canadian Persona with that quick refrag is gonna make things a 3v1. Wicca's in position to cap. Just needs some smokes as Persona has that angle. And Chickens tap Wicca, and Wicca will trade with Canadian Persona. With Misha and Chickens still up, Notorious will get their second round win. They are 2 points away from winning this match and moving on to the finals.
It was interesting that they chose to not go for the cap there, especially with the ability to smoke and then just kind of let it sit for 5 or 10 seconds just to ensure that no pre-fire comes out, or at least get the false sense of security that it was clear, and then that the Volk side would at least get the false sense of that it was clear and then move in, because they had plenty of cover. They didn't have to go for that kill. They didn't have to go for really anything except for that uplink, and they were right on the edge of range.
Yeah, but then again, capping is a very risky maneuver as it requires both hands. You gotta have one hand holding the tablet, one hand punching the code, so you can't really have a gun on you and defend yourself. You are completely vulnerable for those few seconds required to cap. So sometimes, yes, it's in hindsight it's better to go for the cap, but more often than not, it's just let's just get the point, get the kill, take the round, and just move on. And that seems to be the mindset for Notorious. Now let's see if they can hold this next objective, which is the tank objective. Both these objectives we're playing now, this recent one and this new one, is actually new to this map back from last year. So both these teams should have an idea as how to play it. They should have the meta spots down now, as Primordial will have the Kiyot spawn.
Soda's going to start contesting that area, especially with that 2-1-2. With people in the courtyard already. Salty Food goes down. That is a key kill for Soda there. a smoke that's a counter smoke from Salty Poozy does at least give a little bit of a volumetric kind of a coverage, but it's not going to entirely eliminate the view from Soda. There goes the second one with one more in the north. Chiggins is going to be able to see this cross in here shortly, as Canadian does get missed as they go through the building instead of approaching in from the street. But Chiggins does hear this. Chiggins definitely hears this.
Yeah, Chiggins hearing the footsteps is not calling out to the teammates, trying to use his position as an ambush, knowing that there's really no one around right away to get that refrag.
There's the radio clips. That just indicated somebody is directly on them.
As Canadian does find Captain Soda was a necessary pick. He was doing way too much damage to his team to let live.
The question is Canadian going to check this corner or not? Because Chiggins, it has been here for quite some time, not moved.
No,
they
will
do
not check the corner.
So this is a 4v2 with Notorious's favor, and the rest of the team, while they were starting to contest and try to at least get some picks on early, are now finally in halfway blind on the south street here. There's nobody watching this, and I suspect that after such a long time period, somebody is going to be rotating back this way just to ensure there's nothing coming down this direction, especially with how many other angles they have covered.
Yeah, down to Hunter and Alex Weiser. These two were kind of the dynamic duo for the center burning objective in their Marsoc round. They're the ones that held back for a while and nearly came back from a deficit. But we did see here some background noise coming from Hunter's headset, so that could give him away, apart from the footsteps.
Bit of hand-waving communication going on here, trying to get them to push through the buildings. Wicca is going to catch that push. Alex is now the lone Marsoc attacker, and relatively, I mean, they're outnumbered at 4v1, but they're relatively cornered.
Yeah, but they have 2:50 left on the clock, so they have some time to make some rotations. Just need to try and get a pick and then rotate out of there and kind of go back and forth like that, trying to whittle down that defense. Not sure how Alex is with iron sights on the AK-5C, but we're rooting for him. And he just realized he's cornered in a wall.
Yeah, it sounds like they're just trying to disengage, stay quiet for a little bit, and get Notorious a little bit more antsy. But after a quick break, those footsteps are going to give Mission an idea as to where they are on the south street. Wicca is going to be covering this as well because of the fact that they did get Hunter from this angle. Here's the angle from Wicca with almost a headshot. They get shot right in the neck area. And 2 minutes remaining. Primordial is unanswering these points, and they need to really turn this around and gain some momentum to stay in this ball game.
Yeah, it's not looking that great for Primordial, and you can see in the kill feed where it's Canadian Persona with 5 and 3, Salty Foods 1 and 3. Everyone else has yet to score a kill, so unfortunately Canadian Persona is the one who's really carrying the team right now. So hopefully this is the round that Primordial kind of says, look, we're not out yet, let's keep it going, let's get that win. Whereas we see with Notorious 4-2, 4-1, 4-2 between Soda, Chiggins, and Wicca. You kind of see the team kills, the kills more spread out, and Soda did have a TK, so it could have been a 5-2, but yeah.
Yeah.
Don't kill your teammates.
Well, we are going to see Notorious take Marsoc with this, and they are clearly showing the dominance that they have and experience they have on this map. Soda with a 4-2, Chiggins with 4-1, Wicca 4-2, Lula with 2-1. Mission, I don't think has seen much action here. They're 0-1. So I'm kind of expecting them to do a coordinated push in this, considering their experience. At least in the VRML ladders, they are number 2 right now, and they do have the quick spawn. They definitely have practiced this map a lot, and they have their strategies as to how they want to approach these objectives. But the question is Primordial going to be ready for this quick spawn or not?
No, you did.
Chicken's interestingly going to put the smoke down right next to them on the concrete pallet, but a handful of the rounds exchange, and Notorious is down now 2 compared to the 1.
Yeah, and a good pick from 2 members of Primordial, making it a 4v3. Alex Weiser calling out Echo 4, thinking that they only got 1 kill. And Salty Pussy was not able to get his call out in, as Capsoda got the refrag almost instantaneously. And we already see Llewellyn on the ice cream truck on Main Street. And he does have a line to the objective.
Yeah, it's interesting that they are taking that approach with the rest of the team kind of splitting off there. A lot of common angles are being covered, though, still, from Primordial. That smoke does give an idea.
Calm the fuck down, was a misinput.
Does give the indication that Lula is out that way, but that misfire that we just heard from Canadian also gives away their position. That smoke's going to dissipate as they are sticking out in the open. Alex and Salty Foo are really focusing on defending from this courtyard. Down goes Canadian from Chiggins, who was moving around quite a bit there. That makes us an even 3-3 with a kill there. Soda, doing a quick tablet check. I think they heard one of the pair of Alex or Salty Foo out that way.
Yeah, Canadian Persona was unfortunately unaware of the threat of the pose on him. Standing out in the open, not really finding cover. Just unfortunately let his guard down for the wrong time for too long, and Llewellyn was charging for the objective. Hunter in the best spot possible for that shuts him down, making things a 3v2 in favor of Primordial. All down to Captain Soda and General Chickens. Salty Foo pushing up.
Figgins is flanking around as Foo and Soda are really kind of looking to duke this out, get that kill. Soda was injured earlier. They are back-to-back on the map. A flashbang up and over from either side would have been the way to actually get that kill. Down goes Foo with the trade. Alex is now looking to contest Chickens as this is a 1v2. And nobody's covering uplink. I mean, they've got the comfort range here because there's only a 1v2, but if Chiggins does disengage, Alex is going to have to double back in around, and that one all the way in the south, Hunter is going to have to really book it to get back in on the uplink. Alex still not sure exactly which way they're going to go. Chiggins looking for that kill through the wall, not going to find it. Wise did not take that shot either.
Yeah, this is looking really dangerous for Primordial. Like you said, there's really no one on objective watching it. When you're on this man advantage on defense, it's very tempting to send someone out on the flank and get those kills and end the round early. More often than not, it works against them. They lose their one guy, and it makes it easier for the attackers to win the round. So best thing to do is just hold 2 angles that can support each other and stop the cap. That just makes the attacker's job much more difficult.
Yeah, and that would at least put Primordial on the assault at that point, giving them capability if they got lucky with a Kayet or a Humvee uplink to at least get in easily and cap it. But, I mean, that's a little bit risky. We don't know where they're going to go next for this if Primordial does win this. And Notorious would then at that point be put on the defense, giving them a little bit more of that just sit and wait kind of a game where it's a little bit easier for them to ensure that they're going to win this. But Chickens only has a minute remaining. They need to keep an eye on this clock. They are slowly moving, but it's a little bit too slow, I think, in this pace because of the fact that the Alex is there. That likely should have disengaged at least a minute and a half ago. Alex is going to poke out.
Yeah, Alex getting a little too peaky here. Trying to hunt for these kills. One thing you don't want to do is go hunting for kills. As
45 seconds remaining, too.
Yeah.
But Chickens comes around the corner looking for the kill, goes past Alex on the inside of the wall. Alex not looking for that kill, does go down. 35 seconds remaining. The last one, Hunter, has to double back in, leaving the uplink fully open. I don't know if Chickens is going to make it in time here, especially with this street approach that Hunter is really covering. A smoke, and this is done from Chickens real quick. 10 seconds remaining. Chickens has to push on this and not cross in front of the laser and get killed. Do they make it in time? No, they do not. Primordial takes the kill and the win.
A lucky shot between the tank and the uplink to get that kill, and yeah, Primordial stays alive, making a 3-1. They're going on attack, and they're going to get the key objective, the most difficult objective to defend in the entire game. So we could possibly see a 3-3 after this next round.
Yeah, with a bit of coordination and some utility plays, this could be the cap that Primordial needs to tie this back up and keep them alive, and then going back onto defense at that point, giving them a defensive position on Kaya instead. While we have the brief break here, a reminder to everybody that this is the charity event for Stackup, where they are providing games of all sorts to military that is actively deployed and veterans who are looking to get a little bit more of a mental break and not consider suicide as an option here. They are combating veteran suicide through gaming. If you feel so inclined, please do throw a few bucks their way, as it does help contribute to just a game or a console or a PC to help the veterans that are deployed or who have a good bit of
who knows
to combat PTSD. For getting that in their hands.
Yeah, your support can go a long ways. Whether it's, like I said, give them a new video game to enjoy. Maybe it's a new console. Maybe it's a new headset. Maybe they're getting a Quest 2. Who knows? Maybe the new Quest Pro. Or even just a trip to a game convention. Any support that you guys can offer.
As well. That is a good reminder.
Any support that you guys can offer will always be greatly appreciated. This is a not-for-profit charity organization, so all proceeds will be going towards, as you mentioned, games and such, as bullets going to Wicca Wicca from Salty Foo
with
to make things a 4v4. Yeah, 5:20 on the clock, 4v4, 3-1 for Notorious, and map number 4 being 2-1 for Notorious. Primordial has to win the next few rounds to win this map and stay alive.
Yeah, Luler did get a couple of shots and a call out on a southern approach with the spawn. Canadian is now the one, I believe they're hearing here this distance. Is this going to be a contention point, as they are looking to surround the uplink? Down goes Canadian. There's a confirm. And that's going to free up the south for defense, as I get around to the far east, Alex and Hunter are looking to take us in from a northern approach. They really got to watch the street here, though, because one is holding in the back. Not sure where exactly that smoke.
Didn't see Salty. Salty's upstairs, going for the cap, but we'll get shut down by Captain Soda. Mission trying to rotate back.
Chickens, I think, friendly flash blue, but all four are on the uplink now, making this a bit more of a free-ranging approach in for Hunter. They realize that this is a very dangerous thing for them to be letting a cap go forth with. So Hunter is going to have a few more people to contest with than originally foreseen there. Chickens does get a friendly shot onto Lou. Oh no, through the smoke. Down goes mission to Hunter. 2v3. And Chiggins, now realizing that after they left that position, Alex is over that direction. Down goes Alex with a TAR 21. Hunter gets the downing at that point, and Soda, for the defensive win, takes map number 4. And just like that, folks, Notorious are going to be your victors. They're going to move on to next weekend in the finals, going up against, I think it's called the Sparkle Unicorns, I think they're called. They'll be competing for the prize, the #1 prize in the T-Rex bracket. Wait, I think they're called Unicorn Sparkles or Sparkle Unicorns, or I can't recall.
Yeah, it's somewhere along those lines. But GG's to both teams, well played. Great Onward was seen here. And yeah, looking forward to next weekend.
Yeah, and with that, we are going to wrap up here. Again, the website, stackup.org, is the main part of the site here. We do have the URL in chat for the direct link to the donation page. Feel free to give that a visit, poke around the website, see what they're about. Like I said, a handful of bucks, like $5 or $10, could help assist with getting a game in another gamer's hands. Could really use that game as a new break. Gaming, from what I've seen on the site, for a handful of people has provided a good little bit of respite while deployed and in a very stressful situation. So your contribution could greatly help this effort. That said, thank you for joining us today. It's great to see Nomad back on the desk here for the event as well. It's been a little while since we've seen you cast here, so it's great to see you
a couple
back
months,
here.
Yeah. Yeah, it's good to be back.
That said, thank you for joining again. Have a good night. It is 6:26 Eastern, so go get some dinner. Enjoy the rest of the evening. And again, thank you for watching the Pro2 VR Stackup Charity event. Have a good night.